Yesterday, I made a very big decision for my kids. I hope I made the right choice.
I literally just ran off the side of the road.
Take me to the ruins, aquifers and springs, baby ferns uncurling, every living thing. Be to me a mother, both hands on the wheel.
Are you wanting to watch TV?
Show me
I'm not sure what's wrong with her. Good morning and welcome back to our channel. I'm sorry, my daughter's really upset. I'm not sure. And also, both my kids have been sick now for the past week. So, it's been rough. My son picked up a very bad virus and his temperature got up to be 105.4. It scared me half to death. Not only was he really sick, but my daughter also had a giant sty under her eye. And this is the second one she's had this month. She's kind of mad at me for some reason. Thanks to the good Lord, though, they are both doing a lot better and they're both over being sick. If you've seen my other videos, you may notice that we are in a completely different vehicle now. That is because something really bad happened in my car.
I literally just ran off the side of the road and I hit the freaking side thing.
In a split second, a mistake I made could have resulted in something tragic. My daughter was crying and I looked back for a split second and she was holding up her finger. Weird, and I thought that she had broke it. I looked back again for another few seconds. I looked ahead of me and I was running off the side of the road and I lost complete and total control over the car. And because it had been raining the day before, the ground was really wet. We went sliding across the road and hit the guardrails. It completely damaged the passenger's door and also the back door where my son was sitting. But what is worse about this whole situation is if you look really closely, you will see that my car stopped because of the guardrail was digging inside of the side of the car. What is truly a miracle and God watching over us is that because my son's door bent, it created a bumper which finally stopped us from moving and prevented the guardrail from going directly into the car where my son was sitting. It was definitely a great reminder that day that God is watching over us and to keep my eyes on the road. Even if my kids are crying, pull over. It's not worth the risk. Thankfully, we were able to get this Tahoe and it is so nice. I am in love with it. I can do like a car tour one day if y'all want me to, but it's just a Tahoe, but it's really nice. It's so comfortable. Like the seats are leather. They got a DVD player. It's spacious, 3-row seating if you want to have it. It's really nice. I have to meet up with my mom really fast because she's waiting on us. I was supposed to be there at 10. It's now 11:11. I need to hurry up and leave. I'm going to be meeting her at her dog grooming shop. And then we're going to have to go to a store and pick up something really important. And I will show you when we get there. We just got to my mom's shop and she doesn't sound too happy. Look who's here. Are you mad at me for being late?
No,
Oh, I figured you was mad.
I don't mind you being late at all. I'm late all the time. You ready to act? Come on,
Oh,
let's go.
Mama. Wait, we're all gonna get out. All right, we are here. We're at Tractor Supply.
Go get lost in a little town, get dressed up and just drive around, get both feet on some solid ground. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top, fill this bucket up. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top, fill this bucket up.
We had to go to Tractor Supply because I had to pick up horse feed because I do have a horse. I rescued her from a kill pen. I was going to give her food. But however, right now they are currently working on the doors to the barn. My mom's husband is, so we can't bring the horses into the barn right now. So we're going to wait and feed them tonight. However, on this farm they do have a creek. So we're going to go walk down. They've pretty much already left me. We're going to go see the creek. They are already way down there. And Vera refused to walk in this grass. Normally my mom would ride her Ranger down here to go to the creek, but because they're in the barn working on it, we couldn't get it through the doors. So now we're having to walk all the way down here. Here's the creek. Are you fishing?
Yeah.
That leaf just fell in front of me. And there's the grandma. Isn't she beautiful?
Here.
She's so beautiful.
love this.
And there's the sister. She's pretty. She's very pretty. Vera, you're pretty. You're beautiful.
Did you tell him hey? Huh? Say, little girl, did you tell him hey? Ultimately, my hope is that I'll have my horse moved to my house. I already bought the fencing and everything. I just need someone to help me put it up. Me. Shane done told me he's not going to help me put up the fence. So hopefully we'll be able to get it up very soon and have my horse with us.
I got
What are you
pee.
doing? Jax.
I pee over here. I pee on the cloud. Grandma, let's go and build a house.
With you I'm blessed. All at once in a dream, we are together. You could call it a vision or a tether. All at once I can see it put back together. You could call it a vision.
There's my sister's horse and my mama's horse right there, the black one.
That's your aunt's horse right there, Stephanie.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll put you on it.
Ow!
Whoa, whoa. I wouldn't do that, Mama. You're going to get her hurt. Mama? I made it home with Vera, but I lost a kid. My son wanted to stay with my mom and help her groom dogs today. And I just let my dogs out. Here's Baby. Come here, Baby. She decided to show up. Where were you? Where were you? You stink really bad. Ugh. Whenever my dogs come outside to play, they get stinky. Motherhood is so much harder than I ever thought it could be. I recently made a decision for my son and for my daughter that will affect them in the future, and it's a pretty big decision that I decided to make, and it was finalized yesterday. All the paperwork has been filled out. It's a done deal. But every choice I make, I truly try to keep my children's best interest at top priority. My son entered into kindergarten in August of this year. He was doing so good in school, but every day just about he would come home and tell me, my teacher put me in timeout. And I would ask my son, what did you do to be in timeout? So one day he told me that he was out on the playground for recess. He was like on top of the swing set or the slides or something like that. He wouldn't let any of the other kids pass by, and he would say, what's the password? I don't think that's the worst thing in the world a kid could do. I don't think for that he should have been put in timeout for the entire recess for that day. He came home and he was honestly down and out, and I could just tell he was not happy. It kind of was like, whoa, they're breaking him. It never was anything serious that he was doing. We did have a parent-teacher conference with his teacher very recently, and we went in there and she sat down with us, and I don't know. The whole situation just didn't sit well with me. Another thing that I was not very happy with his school is that every single week, minus like 1 week that he was going to school, he got sick. And this last week that he got sick, he had 105.4 fever. I've honestly felt sorry for him that he kept getting sick every single week. But my son was really happy to go to kindergarten at first. He loved it so much. But after a while, I could tell that he was feeling down about it. I've been doing a lot of research on homeschooling, and my intention this year was never to send him to public school. We either wanted to send him to a Christian school or I wanted to homeschool him. I did so much research, but we were pretty much running out of time at the point that he needed to sign up like within that week for a school. I really wasn't sure how to sign him up for homeschooling, and it was pretty much past time to do the private school. The easiest situation just to go ahead and sign him up for public school. I don't really have anything against public school if it's what you need to do. If you're not home and you have to go work and you have no other choice but to do public school, or even if you just feel like it's best for your child, that is totally fine. I sent my school to public school. I was in public school for 13 years and I graduated and got my high school diploma. But I will say this, and this is just my experience, but when I went to public school all 13 years and I graduated, I honestly did not learn any life skills. I did not know how to cook. I did not know how to clean. I didn't know how to pay bills. I didn't know how to buy a home. I didn't know how to get a job. I didn't know, like, anything. And I just feel like if you're going to go to school for 13 years, which is like a good chunk of your life, shouldn't you learn stuff that's like going to help you be successful in life? I definitely learned how to read, write, count, but I didn't learn anything that like helped me succeed in life. And when I became an adult, it was a really big struggle for me because I was like, didn't know anything and I had to learn everything myself. And yes, your parents should be teaching you that. But at the same time, if you're going to go to school for 13 years and dedicate a good chunk of your life to school, it just seems like you should be taught more than what's A plus B minus Z. You know, I have been thinking about this for a very long time. Should I homeschool my son? I asked my husband, are you okay with me homeschooling our son? Are you okay with it? Are you going to get mad at me if I homeschool him? And my husband Shane was saying, I don't want him to be dependent on you and be coddled by you. I told him, I don't want him to be either. Like, I want my kids to be more equipped for life and be more successful than me. I want them to know how to cook, clean, do all this stuff. I want him to start a business before he's even 18 years old. I want him to be so successful. I want him to be independent, which both my kids are, especially my son. My son already knows how to cook. I didn't learn how to cook until I was like 18 years old. My son is really good with social skills. He will talk to anybody. I feel like I'm doing something right. We talked it over and I did a lot of research. I looked up, how do you homeschool? Like, how do you sign up for homeschool? How do you pull your kid from public school and put them in homeschool? I looked up all that stuff. Like, I wanted to do it legal so that he gets credit for it. The day before yesterday, I signed him up for Association for Independent Homeschool in our state, and they approved our application. They called us and told us exactly the steps we need to take to do everything legit. But they also told me something really shocking to me, and that I didn't know this. Maybe y'all did, but I had no clue. They said that kindergarten for our state is not mandatory. I had no clue. I was like, are you serious? Like, I didn't have to go to kindergarten. I hated kindergarten so badly. If we had, before the beginning of the school year, signed a waiver for him to not be in kindergarten, he would never even had to be in kindergarten. However, I do feel kindergarten is pretty necessary because you do want to set your kids up for success. And my mom told me that she was a kindergarten dropout. I didn't know that. I honestly thought you had to go to school for 13 years. Like I did. So we called up my son's school yesterday and told him that we are going to pull my son from school. They said, okay, we're going to get the paperwork ready. You know, just come in a few hours and we will get it started. So we went to his school. We went to the office and they sat us down and wanted to ask us, like, why are you pulling him? Was there an issue? Was there a problem? And we just, explained to them. We felt like it just wasn't a good fit for him. It was a very, honestly, simple process. I thought it was going to be really complicated. His school just wanted to know the curriculum we're going to be using, which we are hoping to use My Father's World, which is a really, really good Christian curriculum. We're looking into that. We're hopefully going to be getting that curriculum or another one very similar to that. And I signed a paper to withdraw him. That was pretty much it. They gave us everything that he had in his little cubby in his classroom. They wanted his library book back, which was in his book bag. That was it. And the principal came in and she wanted to talk with us, and she said that she was very sorry for the situation. She was not happy about that situation. She said, if you want to bring them back, bring them back. You can sign them up again. You can sign them up for first grade here. We would love to have them back. It was a very simple and easy process and way easier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be really difficult to have him homeschooled, especially after he'd already been enrolled in public school, but it was very simple process. Once we were leaving the school and he was withdrawn, as we were leaving the school, my son did ask me if it was okay if he could say bye to one of his friends that he had made in his class. We had asked them up front if that was okay, and they said yes, that's totally fine. They actually called his teacher and asked her if she could bring that student to see him, and she ended up bringing like the whole class, and it was honestly really sad, and I was about to cry. My mom was about to cry. The little girl that is his friend come up and she was just like, hey, Jackson. And he was like, hey, and it was just like, It was touching. It was kind of sad. And like the whole class were all just waving at Jackson. They were all like, "Hey, Jackson!" It gives me the feeling that Jackson, my son, was probably like well liked by his entire class. It definitely was bittersweet, and I felt like, did I make the wrong decision? But he definitely will be able to see all of his friends in the future. Who knows, he may go back to that school in the future and maybe next year if we decide that homeschooling just wasn't a good fit, or he could potentially see them just out and about, maybe at the park. So it's not the end, my friend. Today, actually, the association for homeschool that he has signed up for had called us, and his counselor made sure everything's good, and she is going to recommend us some curriculums that are very similar to My Father's World, but maybe more affordable. So we're going to look at those. My son is now officially a homeschool student, and I am officially a homeschool teacher. And my daughter also is being homeschooled as well. She listens to almost everything that I'm teaching my son. Today was like our first official homeschool day, but the days prior we're really homeschooling. He just wasn't pulled from public school yet. I honestly have been homeschooling him now for the past about 4 days, because before I pulled him from school, I wanted to make sure that he would actually pay attention to what I was telling him and just trying out and just see could I handle this. And he did really, really good. But yeah, if y'all have any questions about homeschooling, how to get started, any of the process, definitely don't hesitate to ask me, because I can make a whole video about everything, because there's so much that I learned through this process that I had no clue about, and was really what hindered me from homeschooling to begin with. I'm very excited personally, because I get to teach him what I want to teach him. I get to use the curriculum I want to use with him. He may even be starting his own YouTube channel, because I really want him to be successful in his own self, be independent like he already is. I'm very excited about this, and I'm excited to share this journey with y'all. This morning I woke up and I was like, what did I do? Did I make the wrong decision? I know I made the right decision, and we can always put him back in public school if it's not working out for us. If I'm not able to teach him, if he's not listening to me, then he's going to have to go back to public school, because it's just not going to work. He is my son, and I want to do what's best for him. So I'm not trying to do anything that's going to hurt him. I really am looking out for his best interest. There's so much I could say about homeschooling and the whole process and why we chose this. But if y'all have any specific questions, just leave them down. Definitely leave them down in the comments below so I can answer them for y'all in the next video. Really, I very much appreciate you watching this video. Today's comment of the vlog is from the Scott's family of 5, and they wrote, "You are doing great when it comes to feeding your family." And when I seen this comment, it made me feel a lot better about my meal choices for my kids. And just in general, the choices that we decide for our kids, such as homeschooling them or not. As a mom, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and even dads too. I'm not saying dads don't do this as well, because we all do. We all parents. We put a lot of pressure on deciding what is best for our kids. And for me personally, I'm scared so much that I'm going to mess up, because I really just want to do what is best for my kids. So thank you so much for writing that comment. It did make me feel a lot better in how I'm raising my kids. I put so much pressure on myself to just take care of my kids the best that I can. I feel like I fail just all the time. But really, you're not failing as a mom if you are truly putting your kids' priority at the top of the list. As long as they are well fed, cared for, loved, and you are doing the best you can, then you are doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much for that reminder. Being a parent is not an easy job. Be easy on yourself. I'm gonna try to be easier on myself as well when it comes to being a mom. It's not easy, but it is well worth it, and we're raising amazing kids. I love y'all so much. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I also have an Instagram and TikTok at morganfamily_YT. Bye.